On the news, former governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, gets 500 million naira bail. Tax reform bills divide governors. And appeal court overturns ruling seeking to seize River State allocation. It's a pleasure to have you join us. I am Joy Uchejim. We begin in Abuja, where a federal high court has granted bail to the immediate past governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, to the tune of 500 million naira. Justice Emeka Nwite, who presided over the court session on Friday, ordered that the former governor must produce 2 sureties in like sum. He said the 2 sureties must swear to an affidavit of means and must be owners of properties in Abuja. In addition, the title documents of the properties will be verified by the Deputy Chief Registrar of the court. Justice Nwite also ordered that the former governor must deposit his international passport with the court, while he and his 2 sureties are also to deposit 2 recent passport photographs with the court. He further ruled that Bello must be remanded in the Kuje Correctional Center in Abuja, pending the perfection of his bail conditions. And the House of Representatives was thrown into an uproar as opposition members protested the defection of a Labour Party member representing Jos South and Jos East Federal Constituency, Plateau State, Honorable Alfred Ajang, to the All Progressives Congress (APC). The lawmaker's defection, desist from the Labour Party within a week, was announced during plenary with former Plateau State Governor Senator Simon Lalong in attendance. In a letter read by Speaker Abbas Tajuddin, the lawmaker cited internal crisis in the Labour Party and the desire to align with the developmental policies of the APC government under Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
In recent times, I have found it increasingly difficult to align with the Labour Party's approach to national issues, especially given its limited influence in the current government structure. I believe that joining the APC will provide me with the greater opportunities to secure federal support for projects that are crucial to the people of Plateau State, including improved healthcare, education, infrastructure, and security.
I wish them well, and those of us who are still contemplating to move to whatever party, we still wish you people well.
Our colleague has not established the fact that he is a member of any other party as to warrant the presentation of that letter before this House this morning. I would therefore pray that you ignore the letter in its totality and allow him to take the proper step in his ward at home and then come back to this place to inform us.
Section 40 says, every person shall be entitled to assemble freely and associate with other persons, and in particular, he may form or belong to any political party, trade union, or any other association for the protection of his interests. Mr. Speaker, this section have no ambiguity. It is very clear. It donates the power to any individual to associate with trade union, political party at his own will, more so that there is a leadership crisis in the party, he stated, and he left.
Meanwhile, the Labour Party says it has filed a suit in court asking the leadership of the National Assembly to declare the seats of its members who defected to the All Progressives Congress (APC) vacant. Now, in a statement on Thursday, spokesperson of the party, Obiora Ifo, denounced the gale of defections during the week when 5 Labour Party members in the House of Representatives switched to the ruling party, citing internal crisis in the Labour Party. Ifo said the lawmakers were birds of a feather who had long perfected plans to run away with the people's mandate. Now, joining me to discuss this suit filed by the Labour Party is political affairs analyst Jide Ojo. Thank you for joining us. Now, so far we have had 6 lawmakers defect from the Labour Party to the All Progressives Congress (APC). Now, what do you make of the defections, and why have they not moved to the PDP?
Why should they move to PDP? In politics, there are it's a tale of 2 countries. You have the Siberia and you have the Saudi Arabia. And if you are asking why they didn't move to PDP, because PDP in itself, it's in crisis. PDP itself has leadership crisis. Don't forget, early in the week, the daughter of former governor of Delta State, James Ibori, left PDP to join APC. And I saw this coming when the leadership crisis between Julius Abure's camp and the Nigeria Labour Congress and that of Alex Otti and Peter Obi, when they were pitched against each other. I knew that the beginning of the end of Labour Party has come. And it's not the first time this is happening. Labour Party has become a special purpose vehicle where those who are denied tickets in the dominant party, like APC and PDP, goes to realize their political ambition. I recall that when former Governor Olusegun Mimiko of Ondo State used the party platform, before the end of his second term, he also defected to PDP, which was the ruling party at the center there. And now history is repeating itself. Those who are in Labour Party are now finding refuge in the ruling APC. So it's not unusual. It is for Labour Party to get its acts together so that the remaining members will not defect, because they still have, I think, 2 or 3 senators who are yet to defect. They also still have about 30 members or 28 members who are yet to defect.
Okay,
they should guard against this girl of
sorry to cut you short, Mr.
Ojo. They are going to court.
Okay, so you mentioned that history is likely to repeat itself. Now, I want to ask, are we likely to see more defections from the Labour Party in the future, given the crisis rocking the party? And how might all of this affect the party's chances in 2027?
I already answered that given the leadership crisis, this is just the beginning of the end of Labour Party. And I hope I will be proved wrong. You see, when yes, Court of Appeal has recognized Julius Abure as the chairman of the party, but the other camp have also appealed that to Supreme Court. And litigations, there must be an end to litigations. If you are saying that there is no crisis in the Labour Party, then why is it that just a couple of months back, I think it was in October or last month, November, that the only party that Labour has, the only state that they have, which is Abia State, held its local government election, and Labour Party, which is the ruling party in the state, under the leadership of Alex Otti, did not win even a councillorship seat. All the 17 local governments were won by opposition. 15 were won by Zenith Labour Party, 2 were won by the Young People's Party. And so it tells you a story that there is crisis in Labour Party. And those who want to hide behind the needle are saying that there is no party. The section 16 subsection 1G of the Constitution is already activated, because from what we saw in Abia during the last local government election in that state, and even before now, there are 5 members of the party in Enugu State that have previously defected to the PDP in Enugu State. So this is just a culmination. Members of the party in Enugu had already defected to the ruling party in the state. So this one that is happening now is just another after effect. And the earlier Julius Abure reconciles with other party chieftains to halt this gale of defection, the better. If they are waiting for court decisions, many more will have left before that finality is given to whoever is the leader of or the recognized leadership of the Labour Party, as it were.
All right, thank you for lending your thoughts and your time, Mr. Jide Ojo. Thank you very much. Now, moving on, the Court of Appeal has overturned a controversial judgment that sought to seize the statutory allocation and revenue of Rivers State, a move previously supported by allies of the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike. Delivering the judgment on December 13, 2024, Justice Hama Baka ruled that the Federal High Court lacks jurisdiction to hear the case, affirming that disputes involving state revenue fall outside the purview of federal courts. The ruling, which upheld arguments presented by Rivers State Legal Counsel Chris Uche, was hailed as a victory for the rule of law. Across Rivers State, residents celebrated the decision with widespread jubilation, while the opposition coalition described it as a significant blow to any attempts to undermine judicial authority. And the National Economic Council, NEC, has once again taken decisive steps towards addressing some of Nigeria's most pressing issues, ranging from flooding and primary healthcare to education and energy, during its 146th meeting and last meeting for the year at the State House in Abuja. The Council reviewed key updates and approved resolutions aimed at tackling these challenges. Key discussions centered on flood mitigation efforts, with the Ad hoc Committee on Flood, Erosion, Drought and Desertification transitioning its responsibilities to a newly established task force. This next report has more details. The National Economic Council, NEC, has reviewed critical national issues during its 146th meeting held at the State House in Abuja. One of the key updates presented was from the Ad hoc Committee on Flood, Erosion, Drought and Desertification, chaired by Kogi State Governor Ahmed Ododo. Briefing journalist, Akwa Ibom Deputy Governor Ekon Enyakenyi revealed that NEC approved the disbursement of the remaining funds allocated for flood mitigation, emphasizing the importance of continued support for affected states.
The chairman of the committee prayed that the council should approve the winding up or winding down of the committee's activities, because the final report was submitted, and also to transfer the duties to the task force on flood, erosion, droughts, and mitigation agencies.
The Finance Minister Wale Edun presented updates on the Federation's special account and discussed the indebtedness of states to the federal government.
I reported to the National Economic Council that the excess crude account as at December 10th had approximately $424,000, while the stabilization account had 33.3 billion naira. And likewise, the development of National Resources account had 28.3 billion naira.
NEC agrees for about 0.05%, but that this request by RAMFAC for special funding should be taken holistically when this, the tax reforms now in consideration of all the other requests are considered within that context.
The Council also resolved to close critical staffing gaps in primary healthcare and basic education by hiring and deploying more qualified teachers and healthcare workers.
It would also improve foundational literacy and numeracy through structured pedagogy programs to reduce learning poverty, which is currently at 80%. It would close the staffing gap by hiring and deploying qualified teachers and priority health workers. It would strengthen the compact between the federal government, the states and local governments on health and basic education expectation on outcomes. And finally, it would increase access to basic education and primary healthcare services at facility levels through community-based management approaches.
To address Nigeria's power sector crisis, NEC inaugurated the Ad hoc Committee on National Electrification. This committee will work to expand access to affordable energy sources nationwide. Additionally, the Council launched the NEC Ad hoc Committee on Polio Eradication, reaffirming its commitments to eliminating disease and improving public health outcomes. Joy Uchejim, TV360, Lagos. And the Nigeria Governors Forum convened a late-night meeting in Abuja on Wednesday, which ended without a communique, fueling speculations about the contentious tax reform bills at the end of their discussions. The meeting, which commenced at 10 p.m. and lasted just an hour, was attended by 15 governors, primarily from the ruling All Progressives Congress (APC). Governors Alex Oti of Abia State and Chukwuma Soludo of Anambra State, representing the Labour Party and the All Progressives Grand Alliance, were also present. However, the governors reportedly failed to reach a consensus on the tax reform bills President Bola Tinubu recently presented to the National Assembly. We'll go on a short break here, but still to come, in Syria, mass rallies mark the end of Assad regime. Details of this story after this break. Welcome back. Here's a recap of our top stories. A federal high court in Abuja has granted bail to the immediate past governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, to the tune of 500 million naira. Justice Emeka Nwite, who presided over the court session on Friday, ordered that the former governor must produce 2 sureties in like sum. He said the 2 sureties must swear to an affidavit of means and must be owners of properties in Abuja. In addition, the title documents of the properties must be in Abuja will be verified by the Deputy Chief Registrar of the court. Justice Nwite ordered that the former governor must deposit his international passport with the court, while he and his 2 sureties are also to deposit 2 recent passport photographs with the court. We also informed you that the Nigeria Governors Forum (NGF) convened a late-night meeting in Abuja on Wednesday, which ended without a communique, fueling speculations about the contentious tax reform bills at the heart of their discussions. The meeting, which commenced at 10 p.m. and lasted just an hour, was attended by 15 governors, primarily from the ruling All Progressives Congress (APC). However, the governors reportedly failed to reach a consensus on the tax reform bills President Bola Tinubu recently presented to the National Assembly. Now, in case you missed any of our news bulletins or for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV and ABO TV, or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery, and Apple Store. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. Let's join Tamilore Akinkwoliye, who is on standby in the world of business. Tamilore, what's the latest?
Thank you, Joy. Well, in the world of business, the National Economic Council has urged state governments to key into the program of the Presidential Food Systems Coordinating Unit to address food insecurity. The council took the decision as its 147th meeting chaired by Vice President Kashim Shettima at the Aso Rock Villa in Abuja. In a presentation to the council, the technical assistant to the President on Agriculture and the Office of the Vice President, Marion Moon, and the coordinator of the Presidential Food Systems Coordinating Unit, he highlighted the strategy proposed by the unit to collaborate with subnationals in addressing food security and unlocking Nigeria's agricultural potentials across the country.
The Presidential Food Systems Coordination Unit, it really prioritizes initiatives aimed at boosting business and food production and agribusiness food processing in the agricultural sector. And today, they made a presentation which they requested that we recognize the establishment of the PFSCU and its mandate to drive national priorities, and that this mandate should emphasize cooperation with other MDAs. They secondly requested acknowledgement of the diverse representation of the PFSCU board, bringing together a wide range of experts from public, private, and even the non-profit sector. And they also requested acknowledgement that of a major initiative, the National Crisis Response Plan, which they have drawn up, and the Green Imperative Project, and the National Agricultural Production Planning Mechanism. These are all major initiatives under that coordinating unit, and they just wanted to bring them to the notice of the National Economic Council, seek the support, encouragement, and assistance of the Council.
We'll go on a short break here and be back with Stock Market Report. It's the last trading day of the second week of December, and the Nigerian exchange market closed on a bullish note, with the market capitalization crossing the 60 trillion naira by closing at 60.25 trillion naira, and the all-share index recorded a 0.63% gain, signaling positive sentiment among investors. Now, at the close of trading, 128 equities participated in the day's trading, with 37 gainers against 15 losers. Now, leading the gainers chart was Aradel Holdings, which posted a 10% share price increase to close at 550 naira per share, followed by the Ikeja Hotel, which closed at 8 naira 80 kobo per share. Now, in total, 534 million volumes of shares were traded in 8,463 deals, corresponding to a market value of 7 billion, and thus reflects a 9% improvement in volumes, 5% increase in turnover, and 2% rise in the number of deals compared to the previous section. Meanwhile, on the global front, select international stocks closed in a mixed bruise, as that's why we have the UK FTSE ending in the red, and the US Dow Jones in the grays, and the Japan's Nikkei in the red. Now, on the foreign exchange market, the Naira remained volatile at the black market. It traded at 1,660 Naira per dollar, 2,200 Naira per pound, and 1,820 Naira per euros, with no significant changes compared to the previous day. And that's the latest on both the stock and business market. Over to you, Joy, for the rest of the news.
Thank you, Tamilore. And on the foreign scene, mass rallies are taking place across Syria to celebrate the end of 5 decades of authoritarian rule by the Assad regime. Images from Damascus and other cities show people taking to the streets after Islamist rebels seized power last Sunday. Former President Bashar al-Assad fled to Russia, where he and his family have been given asylum after rebels captured the capital, Damascus. Rebel leader Amir al-Shara, also known as Abu Mohammed al-Julani, has pledged to pursue officials suspected of torture and said it will close notorious Assad-era prisons. And still on the foreign scene, President Emmanuel Macron has named centrist leader Francois Bayrou as Prime Minister, handing him the daunting task of hauling France out of months of political crisis. Bayrou, the 73-year-old head of the Modem Group, which is allied to Macron's party, was appointed 9 days after Michel Barnier's government was ousted by Parliament in a historic no-confidence vote following a standoff over an austerity budget. Bayrou is the 6th Prime Minister of Macron's mandate after last week's toppling of Barnier, who became France's shortest-serving Prime Minister and lasted only 3 months. He is also Macron's 4th Prime Minister of 2024. He now faces an immediate challenge in putting together a cabinet that can survive a no-confidence vote in a deeply divided parliament and thrash out a 2025 budget in a bid to limit economic turmoil. And on sports, the leadership of the National Sports Commission, chaired by Shehu Diko and led by Director General Bukola Olokbade, recently presented a progress report on the state of the sports sector to President Bola Tinubu. This report was delivered during a meeting held at the Presidential Villa on Thursday. Chairman Diko expressed some gratitude to the President for the trust placed in him and the DG, promising to uphold the confidence bestowed by both the President and the Nigerian people in the NSC's new leadership.
We are to turn around the entire ecosystem of sports in Nigeria to do things differently. We have what we call the 3 R's. Now we have to reset our thinking. You know, reset our thinking, and we have to refocus what we are doing, and we have to relaunch the sports in this country. Resetting our thinking, meaning that Nigeria has been focused more on competitions for many years, which we see competitions and foreign trips and everything as consumption. We have to go back to development, which is production. We have to make sure that the internal ecosystem of sports work. So that is the new things we are trying to do differently. Second one, we have to refocus and be deliberate about what we are doing. So we have to decide clearly what is the pathway we are taking to move forward. What kind of legislation we need to put in place to activate the system. What kind of incentives we need to put in place to be able to attract the private sector to support the growth of sport in this country. We have to do that. And then fundamentally part of that is what we are telling Mr. President is to declare sports as a national asset. Sports should be our national asset, so which means it's a special agenda and must be entitled to special concessions, special privileges, and special legislations, executive orders to get things done properly. That has to be done. And then above that, we have to relaunch what we are doing, which means we have to clean our image. We have to make sure we do things differently. We have to be positive at all times so that we can get the entire country, the same way people in the entire country accepted the appointments of 3 of us into run these sports in this country and are supporting this, aligning to the vision. So the same thing we want as we are doing the reforms and setting the frameworks, people should also key in behind us and support what we are doing. At the end of the day, the final outcome will be very special.
And Nigeria Super Falcons maintained the 36th position in the latest women's ranking released by the Federation of International Football Association, FIFA, on Friday. The 9-time African champions played 3 friendly matches within the period under review. The Super Falcons defeated Algeria twice, 2-0 and 4-1 respectively. Justine Madugu's team, however, lost 2-1 to Les Bleus of France last month. Nigeria also maintained the top position in Africa, with the Banyana of South Africa in 2nd position. Morocco, Zambia, and Ghana are the other countries in the top 5. And that's our Super Bulletin on News Now. Many thanks for watching. I am Joy Ochejim. See you next time.